Go ahead.
You keep on telling people this multi-million things you're building. They need to know your income is stable.
I do odd jobs. I do odd jobs. I don't go into too much details. No.
Okay, no details. Okay, fine. So, okay, so Edwin and I, we met when I did a video on shared moments with justice. For those who have watched, I was telling my story, and that is where Edwin picked me from. And ever since, we have been communicating. So when he came to the country this time round, we decided we should meet up and see each other, like face to face, and because we've been friends for over 2 years now, but we haven't met. So here we are, and I've shown you the beautiful apartment he's at. So
Yeah, so I know she's been using my real name. I rarely use my real name on social media. So so I go by the Traveling Lion. So you call me the Traveling Lion if you meet me. That's probably what I'll probably be more comfortable with in the social media. So just remember the Traveling Lion. The reason why I use that name is a long story. My dad used to call me Lion. So it's actually my nickname actually. The Lion is my nickname. So I just turned it into Traveling Lion. Yeah. What do I add to? So YouTube is interesting because for me I've been traveling as a student, as a professional, but I just travel, see places. I've gone all over Europe. I've gone to South Africa. I've been to Kenya. I've been to Uganda. I've not been to Tanzania yet, and but I've been to many countries. I've been to South America, the US, Canada, but I wasn't vlogging before, so I just now started vlogging like last year. Now I've got like 100 and so videos, so you can go back and watch the videos on the Traveling Lion, and you'll see all my videos there from all the way from Amsterdam, Germany, all the way to Colombia, and I try to show you just like what I'm encountering, like the environment and a bit of the people. Not so much. Sometimes you can't get into the people because of privacy, so I just tend to. Whoever wants to interact, I will let them interact. But if they're uncomfortable, because a lot of people are uncomfortable on camera, so I just leave them alone and I take the buildings and the scenery. Yeah.
So if you compare like how, since you're well traveled, if you compare places you've been in and where you live in with our country, home, what do you think? Like on an honest place, do you still prefer home and there you like it for more money, or you like what?
I think it's just different because I've been in different countries. Europe is different because Europe is more, people are more traditional, and also Europe people are not very fast like American people are very fast. Try to do things very fast. Europe is more like Africa because people are traditional, and also America also people take family very important, but Europe tradition and family is also pretty important, just like it is in Africa. And when we look at like the people, I think there's more fun. According to me, you'll have more fun in Kenya or Africa and Europe than in America. America is more a fast life. You just work, go home, work, go home, and then maybe you have a vacation, go to Miami, go to Mexico, Cancun, or go somewhere. And most of the time in the US, you're just working. 12 hours, 36 hours a week, 12 hours a day. And you get so tired, you have time for nothing else. And sometimes you go visit someone in the US, you don't even have time to see them because they are so tired from work. They come and sleep, they wake up, they're out. They come back to sleep, they wake up, they're out. So like me, if someone comes to visit me in the US, actually I take like days off so that I can be with them. I can take them around and so on and so forth. Yeah. So so I think that's the only difference I see when it comes to infrastructure. That's the biggest difference because there you'll see most roads are paved properly, both in Europe and in the US. They are paved very well. There's walkways. There are cycling lanes in many countries, not all countries, but there are cycling lanes. And then there's walkways where people can walk along the road. And then people stop at traffic lights, whether they're vehicles or not. People stop when it's red.
They're disciplined.
Pass when it's green. People mow their lawns, and people don't come like build all the way up to the road. There's a section that left almost 50 meters between the road and where the house is. Let's say maybe 25 meters between the road and where the house is. So there's some greenery between the road and the buildings. not building up to the road.
Okay.
So what I think in Africa is people grab land and people are trying to maximize, and there's very little space after the road. So that's what I see in what I see in Kenya and other African countries, which they could improve on.
Right.
Another thing I saw is that public washrooms are free in many places. In France, you pay. In some places, you don't pay. You just walk in. Like in Seattle, there's so many public washrooms. You go to the park, the public washroom, and they're clean, and you don't pay a dime. But here in Kenya, you go to the city council, so county council public washroom, which is very dirty, you still have to pay. You still have to pay the 10 shillings, so just like a cent. Yeah. So I think the things Kenya can improve on, public transport especially, like a light rail system, BRT system, and in Colombia there's a very perfect BRT system. There's also a lot of taxis, and then there's Uber, but then the public transport is very efficient, and you just need a card, buy that card, and you just tap it and get in, and there are buses that go from Central Station across from the suburbs to the central district in your town. So it's very easy to move back and forth.
So in your town, it's like there's nothing like hiking prices. Like, oh, now it's rush hour, you need to pay this much. No, it has already been put standard.
No, there's not prices. The only prices that have been going up is fuel prices, because after around the COVID time, fuel went from I think $2 a gallon. A gallon is like 2.5 liters. From $2 a gallon to about $4 a gallon. So it's been fluctuating between 2.7 now to about 4.2. So it goes up and down, up and down. But apart from that, prices of other things don't change. They just stay the same. Yeah.
What was your shock at the first time? I know you've been there for a long time. Now you're home. But the first time you left our country and went there, what was the first thing that hit you? Like, okay, was it the food or what was it?
I think the thing that hits me, because when people go to America, I think there's something that's burning, that's coming back.
Oh.
I can.
You know, he's the cook, so he must make sure we're going to have tasty food.
Actually, I was warming some tea and it all boiled over. So the first thing that shocked me, your child in America can evaporate, but it's okay. I speak a lot of Swahili. Incidentally, when I'm in Kenya, I speak a lot of Swahili, Luo. I rarely speak English. She speaks more English than me. So, but when I'm in the US, I speak English. I don't speak Swahili and Luo and the other languages.
Right.
I also know Kikuyu, incidentally. I mostly speak English, Kiswahili, and my tribal language, my mother tongue, Kizulu. Okay. So what shocked me when I went there first was that. First of all, I thought America would be like a place that's like serene, green, with very big, wonderful houses, good roads. But the first place I went was like Machakos. The airport, it's very dry and flat.
It was like Machakos.
And I was wondering.
Which year, how long was this?
That was about 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
So I was saying, is this Machakos or America? Because it was very dry and flat, and I could feel the sense of being in America. It was just like I'm in Machakos. So after that, then we went to a mall. I think we went to buy some material to repair the house, because the guy I was staying with had to repair his basement, so that I have a place to stay before I get my social security process and everything. And when we went there were so many. Sorry to say this, but there were so many black folks. And I thought, wow, I thought it was in America. It's like I'm in Kenya. So it's just because the neighborhood where we were living, there are a lot of African Americans.
Right.
We tend to use people of African descent.
Yes.
Yeah, that's more polite.
Right.
So there are so many people of African descent who are darker as me, or even darker than me. And I was like, what the heck? Are we in America or are we in Kenya? So the guy just told me, oh, you know, this neighborhood, there's a lot of African Americans, especially from middle income African Americans. That's why you see so many of them. But America is not like that. That's just a neighborhood. Because if you go out of the town into the rural areas, sometimes you don't see any black person. They're all like Caucasians. So it's like where you are can deceive you, like where I was specifically on that at that time. It was a lot of it's actually a black neighborhood. You can say a black neighborhood. They were, because a lot of homeowners there are African Americans or immigrants, Kenyans, or other people who have come from other countries. So the only shock I found was that, and then I went downtown, and there's another shock that hits me because there's a lot of trash along the road. And I thought America was so clean, but there was this trash. That was a poor neighborhood, poor and dangerous. So I went there and I was scared because I was saying, how do you guys even drive here? Because I was scared of driving there at night when I was going back and forth. And there's some places that are dangerous, even Americans scared of driving there. But not all the time, but some places are dangerous because people who are like have maybe a criminal record, they can't get a job, therefore they're selling drugs, and therefore they're like drug gangs, and they have also illegal guns. So it's a bit dangerous if you bump into people or an area like that. The only thing is there's not so much random shooting. So someone probably will probably shoot at somebody who was selling dope for them, but didn't give them the money back. So he's the big dealer, and then this small street peddler has not given him money back. So he say, hey, where's my money, man? Where's my money, man? Where's my money? And then probably shoot him for $40. You see, so that has happened because of marijuana for $40. Where I was staying when I just.
And they're probably high also, right?
Yeah, normally drug dealers don't get high, but because you get high on your own stuff, it's not good. But a lot of times they also take drugs. They also take the drugs.
Yeah, because it seems their emotions are really up there.
Yeah. So I think the emotion is also it's got a lot of it's deep. About emotions is very deep because someone said, oh, now in fact now I'm almost profiling African Americans, but there's the anger. There's a lot of anger, especially due to the slavery that happened before, and then lack of opportunities. So you find a lot of anger among African Americans because they feel like there's a ceiling which they're not going beyond. They're not getting like very good jobs or getting good schools because the neighborhood is like a vicious cycle. You say in a poor neighborhood, you go into a poor school that's not well equipped because schools are equipped from the taxes. So there's not a lot of taxes in that neighborhood. That means the school is not very well equipped, and therefore the kids there are not able to maybe get some lessons like music lessons or something like that. You see, so they miss on something just because of the neighborhood where they're staying. So that is a vicious cycle somehow. So there's some anger sometimes in people of African descent that they've been surprised, they've been treated badly and historically, and there's still a lack of opportunities. But not all like Caucasian folks are racist, no. But there are some systemic racism in the system that indirectly makes African Americans or people of color generally disadvantaged. So that's the anger that comes out.
It's a good thing you talked about racism because there's a place where someone once said that our African Americans are more racist to yeah, no, that one has already been said. So they say that our African Americans are more racist to us black people, so Africans from Africa. Is it true?
Yes, it's very true. One thing which is true about African Americans is that they have got a brotherhood. They'll tend to protect each other a lot. But then now it comes to immigrants from Africa, they consider them outsiders. It's like they are fresh off the boat. They just came in. As we've been here, we were born here. You are from Africa, you are not born here, so therefore they call you African. Although their skin color is the same, they just call you that African, that African. Can you braid hair? Stuff like that. So it's a kind of prejudice. So you get more prejudice from African Americans towards African immigrants than from white folks. That's basically true. There's prejudice. They don't want a lot of African Americans think Africans are below them or immigrants from Africa are below them. It's like they don't know anything, like they're Bamas. They used to call them Bamas. Like Bamas was like when the slavery ended and people came from Alabama where there's a lot of slavery, they came to New York where the slavery had been abolished much earlier or had been like very, very not so much. Then they would call them Bamas. The Bamas have come here, they don't know anything, it's like they're dumb. So you can cheat them. So that's the way African African Americans tend to look at Africa as like Bahamas. You are like green, naive. You don't know anything. It's like kind of stupid. So that kind of that kind of
mentality and
prejudice is widespread among African Americans. They're very nice, good, nice African Americans, educated folks who are very kind. But that general feeling is so widespread.
Right.
And something that somebody said is that, like in primary, elementary school,
Yeah.
you'll find probably the African American kids calling the African immigrant kid African booty scratcher. African
booty scratcher.
Like unajikuna matako when mtu
booty scratcher, like you scratch your booty. Why would they say that?
So it's I don't know what it really meant, but it's like you are so backward. You'll be scratching your back, your bottom, your booty.
So you're not adequate enough. You don't know how to keep yourself. Maybe you still prick your nose and things like that.
Prick your nose, scratch your bottom, stuff like that. So the last time I talked to some African Americans about that, they said, "Oh, and the last time I heard of African booty scratcher was when I was like in elementary school. So forget about that. But even some adults still will use that. Say, oh, that African booty scratcher. You see? So it's like derogatory. It's actually like a racist kind of comment, I would say, because it's ethnically based on where you're coming from. So that's what the folly I find among African Americans, because they don't embrace the African immigrants as they self, despite the fact that they came from Africa through slavery, but the new immigrants, they don't consider to be the same as them. So that's the only difference, and therefore...
So the racism is more on our kind than the white people.
Yes, and because the racism is more from African Americans towards
Africans, right.
Or African immigrants, to say, because they're also Africans.
Yes, they are Africans, right.
So there's more to that, because they feel also African immigrants, when they go to the US, they work hard.
Yes.
They go to school, they finish, they don't have criminal records, so they get good jobs. And then African Americans, some don't accept that this guy came from Africa, is now my boss. This guy came from Africa the other day, now he's driving a big car, and I'm still working on food, taking the bus. You see? So when the African Americans see that, they feel bad, they feel bitter that this guy just came in the other day, is now my boss, he's got a degree, he's got this, he's earning more money, and it's like a kind of bitterness that they develop towards African Americans tend to develop towards African immigrants. I don't want to say Africans where everybody's African. African immigrants, recent immigrants, and then they like some kind of prejudice that, oh, can you braid my hair? You know how to braid hair. You know, you got the same kind of hair. How come you don't know how to braid hair? And you think this guy from Africa or this one from Africa knows how to braid hair. You see? So I think that's the only folly I see. For white racism, I think it's more like it's subtle. The Caucasians who are racist, they don't show you openly. It's very under the carpet. It's only like you can work with somebody who's racist, but they never show it because it's bad to show that.
It's not allowed with the working system.
So they will not show it, but then after work, they'll not talk to you. They will say hi to you. You just work when they work, they're very friendly, but when you go home, when you get out of the door, they don't know you. So that's the kind of...
they know you by pathway, honey, by pathway.
Yeah, they would invite you to their home. They would invite you to go and do anything else apart from
don't go to their functions, like,
No. So in that way, they separate themselves from black folks. But there's still white people who are Caucasians who interact with a lot of black folks, and they're more comfortable among black folks.
Yeah, because we're all colored people still.
Yeah, we're all colored.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of mixture of that. So it just depends on who you meet and who you interact with. Some could be racist and not show it, whether they're black or white. Some may not be racist and they just keep to themselves because they don't want to interfere with you or your privacy or your life. So it's a dicey situation, but it all falls within there. But basically, what I said, that's what I've experienced myself.
Yeah, but at the working system, there's no racism. It is all
the working system. I can't say there's no racism, but there's some structural. There could be some structural racism, which has been there over time. Where you find like a boss has been traditionally a Caucasian.
Yes.
And the company may find it difficult to put in someone of color because there could be a feeling that this person may not do the job as well as qualification. So that could be there in the system where during the committees or the promotions, whatever, they might prefer someone who's Caucasian to someone who's of African descent. So that one could be there, but it's not all the time. If you're qualified and you are a person of color, you apply and you get the job. But sometimes if you are two people who have got the same qualifications, the person who's a Caucasian might get the job and not you. So that is there.
But I also hear like if you are like, let's say now you're a doctor, you've gone through the system in Kenya. Let's just talk about Kenya. And you are a doctor because you've gone through the system, you have passed, and you've even been practicing. But I hear when you go up there, they still have to vet you because they feel like you're not up to their standards.
The American system, the way it works is that the Americans themselves tend to believe in what they have. They believe in their own qualifications in terms of competency. So they tend not to think that somebody from outside will do the same kind of work. So you have to show that you can do.
Meaning they return you back to school, or what do they do?
No, not necessarily. You can actually transfer your credit. So there's a credit transfer system. So when you get there, you can transfer your credits, and then from there you can pick up at the level where they feel you're comfortable. So if you had a bachelor's, you can continue with your bachelor's, or you can do one more or 2 more years, and then they'll give you another bachelor's over there. So it's like you can transfer those credits to a bachelor system there. And if you had a master's, you go there, they might give you some classes to challenge, or once the level's been established, to challenge if you can be able, your competence is the same, and then you can pick up from there and continue and get another master's over there. If you're a doctor from here, you don't have to study again. You just have to sit your UMLE. Is U.S. Medical Licensing Exam, UMLE. So once you pass the UMLE, there's one. Hi, just like I was telling Tieno here, in the US, if you've studied medicine in Kenya, you don't have to study medicine afresh. You can just do the UMLE, which is the US Medical Licensing Exam, something of the sort. And you can do UMLE 1, 2, 3, and 4, whatever. And once you pass them, you can actually practice in the US. Although the medical degree in the US is a doctorate, is Doctor of Medicine. So you have to do your bachelor's in the US and then Doctor of Medicine. But in Kenya, it's a bachelor's degree. But still, they allow you to use that bachelor's degree provided you pass the UMLE to be able to practice medicine. So the structures are a little different. In Kenya, is a bachelor's degree for medicine. In the US, is a doctorate degree for medicine. So after you have 4-year bachelor's in the US, you have to do another 4 years in medical school. So it's like 8 years in total. So it's like double the time you spend in Kenya to study medicine. So that's why it's different, and it's probably thorough, but they still say that African doctors, African doctors, people who come from Africa are very good doctors. So even those 4 years of practicing, you've studied in Kenya or another country, is enough for you to practice medicine in the US. So provided you can sit those exams and pass them. It's like you challenge them and pass it. Also, if you are a nurse, you studied nursing, you've got your Bachelor of Science in Nursing in Kenya, you can go and challenge the NCLEX. It's called NCLEX. Once you challenge it in whichever state you are, if you pass it, you can be an RN in the US and just be paid like any other RN in the US. So that's all. I'm just concluding this video because that one was cut short. Please subscribe to my channel, The Traveling Lion. I'm based both here in the US. Most of the time in the US, a lot of times I also come and visit here. And like I met Tieno online, but now we've been able to communicate and see each other. And she's also a vlogger, I'm also a vlogger, and we share information. Thank you very much. Subscribe to my channel, The Traveling Lion, and subscribe also to her channel,
Tieno's Family
and The Traveling Lion. So please subscribe, like, and share so you can build us up as we bring you more stories about our experiences. Ciao. I love you guys, to the beach, to the moon, and back.
Love you more than the pizza.